Hello friends and welcome back to ReddX, your source for the freshest daily cringe content anywhere on the internet. Promise swearsies, it's just a fact and it's totally science. Go ahead and look it up. Today we're diving into r/WeeabooTales because sometimes we need to double up on that daily cringe content, and today is one of those days. I'm feeling a little bit froggy, so we're gonna get a second upload in here. This story series is courtesy of our good friend Tato Ferret, one of our most long-running patrons. He requested this one way back. I did part 1, which if you've missed, that link is in the description. But then I kind of let it slide by the wayside because we're getting obsessed with neckbeards and such. But now it's time to bring it back around because the double uploads and whatnot, so we can continue this series. Probably not going to be as beefy of a video as the first part, but I do want to keep it moving. You know what I mean? I can't recall 100% my thoughts on the original post, but something in the back of my memory is rattling around and telling me that I kind of dislike this OP. So he's basically getting a clean slate to start with in this series. I'm not going to let that paint my view, especially since I can't remember 100%. But we're going to see how it goes. We're going to see how I feel after this story. And we'll keep the series going because it does go on for quite a while. But first, let's get some plugs and disclaimers out of the way, and then we will dive right into some WeeabooTales cringe. I'm an event organizer for anime conventions, part 2. Here are some more stories. Here's the next set of short, crazy stories. You can check the previous one here, or, you know, that link in the description if you want to hear ReddX read it. And there's also a list of people who will appear often in the stories. I did read that in the first video. I'm not going to go over it again because the character's kind of self-explanatory at the end of the day. Why waste time? Let's get into the meat. Snake sorta cosplayed. There was this one Gasai cosplayer who literally stuck to character. But before we start the story, let us first rate her appearance as Yuno. Black hanging dress with frills. Okay, check. Pink hair and red eyes. Indeed, check. A bit of blood splatter on the face for added effect. Yeah, check. A murder weapon. Okay, well, actual murder weapons weren't allowed at the convention. Duh. But she does have a butter knife, so I'm still gonna check on that one. How about a small, petite figure? Meh, wrong. Enter full-on land whale. I feel bad making fun of the woman just for being fat, you know? Was her personality ugly? Okay, then we can get into the appearance. But just hating on her cosplay because she's fat seems like kind of a shitty thing to do, honestly. The amount of fatness this girl has will even surprise you for the fact that she could even stand up and walk. God damn. OP coming at her hard. So, now that that's out of the way, let's start. This part is, again, from how Snake retold the story to me. So there was this one guy cosplaying as Tatsuya Shiba, and not being a homo, I really thought that this guy was fortunately good looking when I first saw him. Snake told me that whenever he saw a huge crowd of women balling up during his patrolling, he would go up and see that this Tatsuya cosplayer was at the center every time. Countless girls were asking for pictures, and at some point, even started a quarrel between groups of girls, which was easily diffused by Snake. Anyways, fast forward to 8 p.m.-ish. The event is nearly at its end, and the hall now has fewer people. According to Tatsuya Guy, he was chilling with his friends, eating some snacks, when Gasai came to their table. Only a second after she appeared, the freak show immediately started. Yuno started staring at Tatsuya, called her by the name of Yuki, who is the protagonist of Mirai Nikki, who is also Yuno's love interest in the anime. So Tatsuya corrects her and says, "Oh, Yuno, I'm sorry, but I think you got the wrong guy. I'm actually Tetsuya. I thought it was nice of him to respond in roleplay.
What are you saying, Yuki? And why are you wearing that outfit?
No, I'm not Yuki, okay? He's probably around here somewhere, though. We've been at this spot for a while, so we know he didn't pass by yet. Maybe you can go check the booths over there. Way over there. As far as what Snake told me, he didn't see anybody cosplaying Yuki.
You know I hate when you lie to me, Yuki.
Yuno then shows Tetsuya and his friends the butter knife. They admitted that they actually laughed at her actions and kindly told her that she was funny.
Why would you lie to me?
While screeching, Yuno then swung her butter knife at the group. At this point, Tetsuya and company are now doubting this land whale's sanity. One person in the group started to apologize. Okay, sorry. We didn't mean to offend you by laughing. Just put that away. You don't know who you might hurt with that thing.
I'm talking to Yuki!
Stop calling me Yuki. Alright, I take it all back. We can make fun of this girl because she's fat and not responding to social cues and making everybody else uncomfortable. Really, the fact that she's fat at all is kind of just a sideline comment, isn't it? Eventually, Tetsuya got a bit mad and raised his voice to Yuno. He said that he did that to subtly tell her that the situation was not funny anymore and that she should drop the act. However, this resulted in the land whale dropping to the ground and crying at an incredibly high pitch. Other vendors even heard her bawling from a few booths away. Being a normal, sane person, Tetsuya then immediately stood up and tried to help the land whale stand up. Wrong move.
You're not Yuki!
Yuno scratched his wrist with the butter knife. It wasn't deep, but it was enough for some blood to drip. At this point, Tetsuya dropped onto the floor.
Yuki will never shout at me! Yuki loves me!
Yuno then went to trap him by getting on top of him and just letting gravity do the rest. Tetsuya's friends started panicking and tried to get her off of him, but Yuno gave another swing of her butter knife and they immediately backed off a few meters. She continued doing her delusional Yuki dialogue with the poor, scared Tetsuya. Although it's just a fucking butter knife, I think that they were actually scared shitless by this pink-haired nut job, as they said that that was their first encounter with the crazy. Yeah, that's big crazy to encounter for your first time. What happened next came like a surprise to them. Yuno, stop! They all turned to who had called the land whale. It was fucking Snake, wearing a beanie just like Yuki, who was the character that Yuno had mistaken Tetsuya for. Leave the guy alone and come with me. Let's talk for a minute. Coincidentally, Snake always wears a jacket, although it is black, unlike Yuki's orange jacket. He also doesn't wear beanies, but he borrowed one from another staff member because the event hall gets colder once the crowd starts to trim down. The beanie is also black with a Nike logo on it, and for some stupid reason, the land whale buys this. She gets up and approaches to hug Snake Yuki. Snake radioed security to attend to the girl, and after that, he escorted the group to our staff's booth, applied first aid to Tetsuya himself, and gave the group some leftover Dota 2 plushies on the house. Hey, sweet. That's worth a butter knife cut, isn't it? I'm pretty sure this is where I came in and heard the whole story. Here's Snake's explanation on how he got into the scene. He said he was doing some patrols over the game booths when suddenly he heard a screech coming from the food area. He radioed security in advance and even informed Muscle Bro 2 and 3. From afar, he could already see Yuno's crazy roleplay and got the gist of what was happening. He said that he really liked the anime Mirai Nikki and immediately came up with the bright idea of wearing the beanie that he borrowed and adding to the roleplay. The rest is as you know it. No charges were pressed on the Unigasai cosplayer for some reason, but we got her information and added her to the blacklist. Well, that's some sort of victory, I suppose. Nobody else is gonna get cut with a butter knife today. Butter knives are now also banned. That is so weird, dude. She got way into this roleplay to a dangerous degree. What the hell? Goes to show, even weebs can be scary, I suppose. Sakura's despair. Our next story. I actually commented on an early and minor plot twist on my previous post, and I figured I'd put it here so everyone can see. Despite being the daughter of Beelzebub, known for her temper, Sakura is an 8 out of 10 cutie. She is very petite and small, has fair and white skin, and is definitely fashionable. The reason that she's mad almost all the time is that every young lad in the staff wants to talk to her, and it pisses her off as she gets distracted from, doing her job. Everyone knows about her temper, and when she lashes out, people just shrug it off as a normal scene. And now, on to the story. This happened on a Vocaloid event that I was at, and it was pretty fresh. It was not a major event, and only had a decent-sized hall as a venue. For a con this small, there were a lot of booths though. From costume shops, expensive photo booths, figurine stores, different minor activity areas, a stage for major activities like Battle of the Bands and a dance contest, and finally a game booth for Project Diva on 3 PlayStation 3s. This story focuses on that game booth. The booth didn't have a sponsor and was purely made by us event staff. The consoles, LED TVs, stereos, and couches all came from us. We even had to hire a really well-known cosplayer to showcase the booth and invite everyone in the area. Here's the important part. This whole endeavor is Sakura's brainchild. Sakura was a huge Vocaloid fan, and a good Project Diva player on top of that, so she suggested this 2 months before the actual event, and proposed to donate stuff to make it all possible. Seeing the profit on this, our big boss gave it a go. Since this was Sakura's idea, she was assigned to manage the booth and split off from my team as I was handling a larger portion of the event. It seemed a good idea to me so that she could actually grow independent of her job. I donated 2 of my couches, a TV, my old PlayStation 3, and an extra controller. Sakura pretty much provided everything else, 2 of her PlayStation 3s, 2 of her TVs, her house's very expensive sound system, another couch, posters and stuffed toys for decor, and even hired her pro cosplayer friend so she could help gather a crowd for this booth. Well, goddamn, sounds like Big Boss is getting the good end of this deal, doesn't it? Yeah, you're my worker, but you can provide all the stuff for the booth that was your idea that will somehow make this convention a success. And all the boss got to do is like kick back and say, yeah, that sounds fine. God damn, management is worthless. I had Muscle Bros 2 and 3 help her make the booth fully operational the night before the event. After everything was set up, you could just see the glimmer in her eyes. Snake told me that he even saw that she went to the event volunteers, started a great conversation about Vocaloid, and asked if she could get more people to manage her booth the next day, which was a shocker for all of us that were on the team. Fast forward to the second day of the event, and all is great for Sakura's booth. Her first day was really successful, and she earned a ridiculous amount of dough, although all that dough probably didn't go to her. Big Boss is like, hey, rubbing hands greedily. Day 2 started just about the same for Sakura's booth. Muscle Bro 2 was there, helping out, since people are coming in basically non-stop, lining up to play Project Diva and having a good time. It wasn't until the mid-afternoon when a customer came in and started playing. This person, however, was not that good at the game, and since he paid to play for 2 songs, he really showed how disappointed he was, realizing that he paid to play a game that he couldn't have fun with. He quickly ended up losing, just seconds after the first song started.
Fuck it! This game sucks! This isn't the right steps for Miku-chan's dance!
This already got Sakura's attention.
Do you have other Miku games here? This game is hard!
He rudely asked Sakura, who was already pissed after hearing his banter about the game earlier. but she kept a decent face and politely responded, "Sorry, sir, but we only have Project Diva here. You know what? Why don't you try the easier songs and start practicing there? We'll give you an extra song to make up for it." The guy took the offer and started a song with lower difficulty. Sakura stayed and sat beside him and decided to help him and give him some tips. And you know how neckbeards are with women giving them tips on anything. So of course he says,
"Fuck off! I know that!"
Muscle Bro 2 heard this, but Sakura told him, "It's fine." I can't imagine anyone telling Sakura to shut the fuck up, but she said she managed to maintain composure even at that point. Sakura kept her silence and just watched the player struggle to hit the notes during the song. Sakura mentioned that he clenched his teeth and gives out a loud and long "Argh!" every time he misses a note, and the growl progresses and grows louder the more that he misses. This got her worried. The moment he missed his last note and got the failure screen, the player stood up and did what would be one of Sakura's later traumas. He threw the controller at the screen with great force, rendering it completely broken. Could have saw that one coming. He stomped the console on the floor, picked it up, and threw it at another TV. The two TVs and the console were both Sakura's. The controller was mine, and it somehow miraculously survived. Muscle Bro 2 apprehended and stopped the asshole, but the damage had already been done. Sakura was shocked the moment that the guy threw the controller at the screen. She didn't manage to stop him and just had to watch him wreak havoc right in front of her. She didn't end up getting hurt though, luckily. Muscle Bro 2 radioed security, and Snake got there a minute earlier as he was just near the booth doing his patrols. What Snake and Muscle Bro 2 witnessed next was completely etched into their brains forever. The Sakura, who was always headstrong, was crying. Hard. Like a little girl. God damn, dude, that does suck though. All she wanted to do was do something nice, have a successful event, and this fucking asshole ruined her personal property. You think Big Boss is gonna reimburse all that shit? Cause I don't. You think the Neckbeard's gonna reimburse any of that? Cause I don't. I would cry too, honestly. I feel super bad for her at this point. I never saw this myself, but the way that Snake and Muscle Bro 2 explained it to me had me really worried. She never calmed down for about a half an hour and just continued crying, which made them call her boyfriend, who rushed to the scene another half an hour later while Sakura was still crying. Snake told her boyfriend that they got the booth under control and that she could take the day off. When word got to me, I already had my hands full of work, and I assumed that Snake and Muscle Bro 2 had gotten it handled, although I did find it really odd that Sakura went home early and left the work to them. They didn't mention anything about Sakura crying. I got the full details of the story from Snake and Muscle Bro 2 after the event, when I got into the game booth to check on things. The big boss of our organization is the one who pressed charges against that asshole that wrecked Sakura's booth. Big Boss, being the good guy that he is, explained to the police that since Sakura was on his payroll, everything that Sakura lent for the booth was technically considered the event's equipment, at least for the period of the event. With that, the police didn't just have the guy pay the damages, but also gave him jail time on top of it. Boss never told us for how long, though. So what, she got like some insurance money to reimburse her for all this shit? Or does she have to rely on this like weird neckbeard to cough up the dough? Because even if people get convicted in court, it doesn't mean they're necessarily going to magically come up with the money. I still feel really bad for her, honestly. Taken advantage of by the boss and the neckbeard because she was too pure for this world. We must protect Sakura at all costs. The asshole was also blacklisted, just so I get that out there. Sakura now has issues lending expensive stuff like her phone and her DS to strangers. Next batch of stories should be coming up, and thank you for the warm responses and kind messages. Just a heads up, not all the stories that I would post are going to be negative and downright cringy. There are also some good weeaboo tales that I have in store. Oh, I'm looking forward to that. Like in part number 3, but we'll have to get to that on another day. I really do enjoy this series on some level, you know. We got two weebs, one's a neckbeard, one's a legbeard, but both are weeaboos, and both are overly obsessed with anime. Both are breaking other people's things, whether that be the skin on their arm with a butter knife, or smashing a PlayStation and throwing it into a TV, which I'll let you decide which one of those is worse. It is an absolute mess. Both of these people obviously way too ensconced with their anime obsession that they've completely lost their grip on reality. It's sad to see, but I can't look away. It's like a train wreck. Endlessly fascinating, and we will revisit it at some point in the future. I am looking forward to those good weeaboo tales. We really need some of that around here. Sometimes we have good neckbeards or legbeards, and I have yet to have a good weeaboo on the channel, so that is what part 3 of this series will be. We will get it up at some point. I promise I won't make you wait months for it, okay? I know I've been kind of crappy with keeping this series going, but keep it going, we shall. And I hope that you guys will motivate me to make the next part even sooner by liking, commenting, and or subscribing. Maybe sharing around the video if you should like. That is always quite helpful. We've also got a bunch of links in the description. You know, lots of plugs and stuff. Also social medias. Facebook, Twitter, Discord. Oh, and my gorgeous, wonderful, beautiful, generous patrons. I would like to thank them all, as I always do. So thank you very much. Calvicus, Fatboy Shrimp, Robert Waits, TSM Kirby, USMC8932, Aaron W, Twisted Child, Delicious Jelly Donut, Candy Sora, Fire Drake, Livison, Mr. Anime Manga Fan, Silent Revolver, Zero MMX, Magdalene Marshall Thornrose, Little Lone Wolf, Mel Pascal, Roustauer, Babsy-kun, Caustic Fox, Disposable Waifu, Aaron Lennox, Fisher Diggy, Hypat Japan, OG James Cook, JM Kun, Jerry, John Hero, KK, Miss Monday, Melgar the Destroyer, Mirthful Baker, Mr. J, my boy Nat One Nick, Lady Nix, Origami Steve, Katie Kins Elizabeth, Sidestep, Cider Drinker, Serrated Ash, Siegfried, Synaptic Boomstick, Brilliant Tamago, Tato Ferret, Teddy the Police, 10-Ton Monster, That Duck and Bug, Fusky, Treeberg, Wilmags, Redwin, Goose Says Hug, Leon Embers, Naga Viper, John Indoors, A Normal Joe, A Roxers, Cake Jerry, that's a different Jerry, a pimp named Jay Crisp, KJW, Kajow, Crafty Kitty Cat, Mark 211, maybe next time, Milk-Fed Gimp, Miss Duchess, Organic Cam, Princess Rosalie, Ghosty, Raptor Art, Ellie, The Last Shinobi, and the Maestro himself, Zuka Cervantes. Thank you guys so very much for doing what you do, supporting the channel through all the good times and the bad. It means the world to me, honestly. I hope some other people will consider signing up, but if you can't do it right now, don't sweat it too hard, man. I mostly just appreciate you coming on through, hanging out with me, and I hope that you'll come on back and hang out with me again tomorrow. In order to do so, you need to keep yourself safe out there, wash your hands, but also take some time out and do something that you personally enjoy today. Maybe watching some more ReddX videos. Yeah! Always remember, friends, that you are loved, you are worthy, and you definitely deserve it. I shall see you in the next one. And until then, bye-bye.